Let's find a nice tall spine. And we'll start to breathe a little length into it. All right, close your eyes. We'll start with that box breathing we've been doing lately. All it means is 4 equal parts. That's what makes the box. So maybe you start with the 4 count inhale and hold for 4. And then a 4 count exhale and hold for 4. See what number works for you. If it works better for you not to count it, that's fine too. Really what you're trying to do is make it as long as you can, but not to the point where you're like gasping, okay? But really trying to just take in the tiniest little bit of air at a time to draw each breath out a little bit longer. So this week we're kind of playing with the idea of forgiveness. And I know previously I've thought about forgiveness as like this, like somebody that does you wrong, you need to forgive them, you know, forgive your dad or whatever. But lately I've been thinking about it more, applying it to everything. Just thinking about the idea that we are supposed to feel this joy of being. And that anytime we're not experiencing that, I've been investigating, okay, what do I need to forgive here? Usually it's myself. Usually it's just some ideas or a narrative that I created about myself that isn't true, isn't helpful. And once I can see that and just kind of forgive myself for having these thoughts or ideas and let it go, I can get back to that feeling, that joy of being. So whether you want to think about actual things or people you would like to forgive, or whether you want to just kind of harness it as just a feeling that can emulate out of you and apply to all the little things that we're not even quite aware of that need our forgiveness. You might start to feel it as more of just, instead of a concept of forgiveness, you might feel it as just like an experience, like a little bit of a softening, a letting go and accepting. So just invite you to bring that idea with you down into the heart space. And just this idea that it's giving before. So it's even forgiving things that haven't happened yet. Imagine you're just kind of making a pact to not only accept reality as it is, but everybody that comes into your life, just forgiving them ahead of time, because they're going to step over your boundaries. They're going to say the wrong thing. And it doesn't mean you have to tolerate bad behavior. It just means you're going to give them a little bit of space, a little bit of love, and not hold it against them, not judge them or yourself. So see if you can take a couple more breaths and really just bring that idea or that feeling into your heart, the idea that we'll just forgive ourselves, forgive each other, so we can come back to that joy of being. It is only available to you in this very moment. See if you can keep this deep connection with the breath. Maybe while we're on the floor, you even keep this box breathing up if that works for you. All right, we're just gonna come into a child's pose. You can have your knees together or your knees apart. Bring your big toes together to touch. Let the center of your forehead rest on your mat. See if you can even apply that idea of forgiveness to your body, to the tension in your body. See if when you tap into that space, it allows you to release a little bit, to melt in a little bit. If you want to open the shoulders a little bit more, lift those wrists up, come up on those tented fingertips. Keep your head relaxed on the mat. See if you can melt through the heart a little bit more, softening through the shoulders. Slowly come up to your hands and your knees. Get a nice tabletop setup here. Start to really engage your hands, engage your core. Now move really slowly as you inhale, peel the right arm up towards the ceiling. Keep rolling that right shoulder back. Try to stack the shoulders. Gaze up at the right hand. Keep drawing the hips back. Now maybe you bring the back of the hand to the small of the back, or maybe you reach around and try to grab that left hip. Keep rooting down into the left hand and lifting up through the heart. Keep rolling that right shoulder back. Find your breath. See if you can make this breath last just a little bit longer. See if finding like a little smile might help you tap into that feeling or experience of forgiveness. Move really slowly as you peel that arm back out, reach it up, almost like you're moving through water. We'll thread the needle. Bring that right shoulder all the way towards the edge of the mat. Right ear comes all the way down flat. Maybe left hand walks forward a little bit. After you settle in, maybe you lift that wrist up, coming up onto those tented fingertips. Sometimes it feels good to move around a little bit in this one, kind of rocking back and forth a little bit, or side to side, I mean. Now bring your left hand on top of your right hand, interlace your fingers and try to straighten into the arms. Pressing the left hand down into the right hand to roll that left shoulder back, finding a little twist. Try not to create any tension in your neck and shoulders here. See if you can soften there. Use your left hand to slowly come back up. Inhale, reach the right hand up, twist open. Come back to your hands and your knees. Set it up. Fire up the core. Engage your hands. Slowly peel that left arm up. Gaze up at it. Stack the shoulders. Back of the hand to the small of the back, or reach around for that right hip. Keep drawing the hips back a little bit. Root down into the right hand. Lift up through the heart. Roll that left shoulder back. Maybe start to look up. Like you're moving through water, slowly release that left arm, reach it straight up, and slowly thread the needle. Left shoulder towards the edge of the mat, left ear all the way down flat, right hand walks forward, settle in. Maybe you lift that wrist up, coming up on tented fingertips. Maybe you find a little movement here. Place the right hand on top of the left, interlace the fingers, straighten into the arms, roll that right shoulder back, soften through the neck and the shoulders, find your breath. Slowly release, use your right hand to press yourself back up. Inhale, left arm reaches up. And come back, hands and knees. Now keep your hips stacked over your knees and walk your hands forward into puppy pose. Maybe your forehead can come all the way down to rest. Once you settle in, if you want to lift those wrists up, coming up on tented fingertips, you can. Maybe you want to roll the wrists or the ankles out a little bit here. Or again, maybe rocking side to side feels good. And now slowly slide out onto the belly, keeping your hands under your shoulders, untuck your toes. Pull the heart forward, press into the feet and lift the heart up. Now draw the elbows in against the body, reach them back towards the feet. And now keep your heart lifted and reach back and interlace your fingers by your sit bones. See if you can glue your palms together and drag your hands back a little more to roll the shoulders back a little more. Keep the back of the neck long and soft. Press into the feet, lift the heart, and drag those hands back a little bit further. And release. Bring your hands under your shoulders. Press back to child's pose. Curl the toes under. Lift the knees a couple inches off the ground. Let the head hang heavy. Press into the hands, really fire up the core. And let each exhale lift the knees another couple inches. Starting to slowly come into downward facing dog. But don't worry about straightening the legs. Think about finding that nice long spine by pressing those sit bones up and back. Even if that means you have to keep the knees bent here. Head is heavy, shake it out a little bit. Draw your shoulders out of your ears. Hollow out the belly, draw it in and up a little more. And slowly walk your hands back to meet your feet. Right. Inhale to lift up halfway. And exhale, fold. Grab your elbows behind your knees. And pull your face in to touch your legs. You can have your knees bent here, or you can start to straighten into the legs, but start to really press down into the feet, all four corners of the feet. Maybe dropping a little more weight into the balls of the feet to lift those sit bones up and back. Now bend your knees a lot, keep your chin tucked, release your arms, inhale here, press into the feet, exhale, slowly roll up, let your arms and head stay heavy. Press into the feet more, lift up through the heart, roll the shoulders back and down, keep them down. As you inhale the arms up, squeeze the palms together, lift the fingers a little higher, press into the feet, feel this hinge at the hips as you lengthen forward, leading with the heart. Exhale all the way down, hollow out the belly to fold in a little deeper, and then slowly walk your hands forward into plank. Find this nice long line of energy here. Back of the neck is long. Quads are lifting up off the knees. Press through the fingers and knuckles a little more. Rock forward onto the toes, slowly lower all the way to the mat, untuck the toes. Press into the feet, pull the heart forward, reach back, interlace the fingers, maybe palms glue. Drag the hands back to lift the heart up. Back of the neck long and soft, feet pressing into the mat, heart lifting up. Maybe those hands drag back just a little bit more to draw the shoulders back a little bit more. And slowly release, hands under shoulders, curl the toes under, press it up to plank, and then lift it up, downward facing dog. Settling into stillness here when you're ready, finding your breath. Keep going. Keep going. Slowly walk your feet forward to meet your hands. Inhale to lift up halfway, and exhale, fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Press into the feet, come all the way up, find a little backward bend. Exhale, hands to heart. And hands down by your sides. Now spread your feet as wide as your mat. Turn your toes out just a little bit. Inhale the arms up overhead, squeeze the palms together. Now bend into the knees, come all the way down into a deep yogic squat. So root down into those sit bones like you're trying to lower the booty to the ground. And then grab opposite arms here, like your opposite biceps, just for a second, just to kind of roll the shoulders back and shine the heart forward. And then bring the hands back to prayer and start to press the knees open, creating space here, opening the hips here. Try to draw the thumbs in a little closer to the heart. Find a little more length in the back of your neck, softness through the face and the shoulders, and really press those knees open. At the same time, squeeze the elbows with the knees. On the inhale, press into the feet, come all the way up. Find a little backward bend. Lift the heart. On an exhale, sink back down into your deep yogic squat. We'll stay here for an inhale to lengthen the spine and shine the heart forward. Stay here for an exhale to settle in. Inhale, press into the feet, come all the way up, reach up, fill up. Exhale, sink into that deep yogic squat. Stay for an inhale to lengthen, an exhale to soften. Inhale, one more time, lift up, fill up, find that little backward bend. And now grab onto your right wrist, step your right foot behind your left and drop your arms over to the left. Feel your heart lifting, shoulders softening. Slowly come back to center, grab onto your left wrist. Left foot steps behind, you drop to the right. Step your feet back together, lower your hands to your heart, and lower your hands down by your sides. Press down into the feet. Inhale, reach out, find a big stretch here. Keep your shoulders drawing down the back. Exhale, swan dive. Find your core, empty all the air. Hold in deeply. Let this inhale lift you halfway up and fill you all the way up. Exhale, chaturanga, meeting back in downward facing dog. Stay here for a couple of breaths. Inhale, right leg reaches up high. Exhale, right knee, right shoulder. Hold here, press into the hands. Keep your arms strong and straight. Engage your core. Lower that knee down to the wrist. Then lift it back up to the shoulder. Lower back down to the wrist. Back up to the shoulder, shoot it up, three-legged dog. Exhale, right knee, left shoulder. Hold here, press into the hands, find your core. Lower down to the wrist. Back up to the shoulder, down to the wrist, back up to the shoulder, shoot it up, three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to nose, step it through, warrior one. Reach up out of the waist. Okay, so knee is right over your ankle, knee is tracking straight out over the second toe. Bring your hands to your hips and get your headlights facing forward here. Drawing the right hip back and the left hip forward. Now bend into that right knee more. Notice your feet, press down into them. Notice if the outside edge of that left foot is trying to peel up, and press it back down. Unless you have ankle issues, then you might need to just let it be. Otherwise, really root down into the outside edge of that left foot. Now reach up out of the waist. Keep pressing the right knee forward. Draw that low belly in and up. Maybe you can bring the hands together and gaze up at the thumbs. Find stillness here. See how long you can make this breath last. See if you can use this inhale to invite that feeling or experience of forgiveness. Maybe finding that little smile helps. Now keep your heart lifted as you draw the hands to heart center. Keep the length up through your spine. Keep pressing the right knee forward as you tip forward. Turn and twist to the right. Hook the elbow outside the knee for leverage. Now twist your heart towards your thumbs. Maybe placing the hands on the center of the chest. Keep pressing the right knee straight forward, tracking out over the second toe. Keep pressing down into both feet and start to twist your spine open by pressing the right hand down into the left and rolling the right shoulder back. See if you can inhale any more length into your spine and the back of your neck. See if you can exhale any more softness. Now keep the right knee pressing forward. Come back all the way up to warrior one. Lower your hands down to frame the foot. Step the left foot forward. Find that powerful chair pose. Sinking into the heels, reach forward and up. Now imagine the feet are pressing down and energetically like they're trying to spread away from each other, and see how that makes the thighs turn in towards each other, creating this internal rotation to really fire up the legs. Lower the booty back behind you just a little bit more. Find your breath. Maybe hands come together. Maybe you gaze up at the thumbs. Pull the belly in. Draw the upper body back. Stand up. Find a little backward bend. Exhale, hands to heart. And hands down by your side. Spread your feet as wide as the mat. Turn your toes out a little bit. Inhale, arms up. Squeeze your palms together. Find a little backward bend. Exhale, sink into your deep yogic squat. Press the knees open. Draw the thumbs in towards the heart. Now interlace the fingers, except the index finger. Reach the arms forward till they're parallel to the ground. Now look down so the neck's parallel to the ground. See if you can squeeze your head with your nice straight arms here. Turn your toes to face forward. Lift your booty to the same height as your knees. So your thighs are parallel to the ground. Your whole body's touching your legs because everything's parallel to the ground now. Your thighs, your arms, your back, the back of your neck. Pull the belly in. Press the sit bones back. Reach the fingers forward. Try to glue the palms together and squeeze the head. Now keep reaching forward through the fingers and slowly lower the booty all the way down towards the ground. Lift it back up to the same height as the knees. Keep pressing into the feet and reaching forward. Again, lower the booty down like you're going to tap it on the ground. And lift it back up one more time. Keep reaching forward. Fire up your core. Lower that booty down. Lift it back up. Slowly come all the way up to standing. Find a little backward bend. Pressing down into the feet. Lifting up through the heart. Exhale, hands to heart. And hands down by your side. Step your feet together. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, swan dive. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, chaturanga. Meeting back in downward facing dog, where we'll stay for a couple of breaths. All right, inhale, lifts the left foot high. Exhale, draws the left knee to the left shoulder. Lower it down to the wrist. Back up to the shoulder. Back down to the wrist. Back up to the shoulder. Shoot it up, three-legged dog. Exhale, left knee, right shoulder. Drop it down. Lift it up. Drop it down. Lift it up. Shoot it up, three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to nose. Step it through, warrior one. Right heel spins out and down. Reach up out of the waist. Press that left knee forward. Bring the hands to the hips. Draw the left hip back and the right hip forward. Press down into the feet. Low belly drawing in and up. Lift up through the heart. Reach up out of the waist. Maybe hands come together. Maybe you gaze up at those thumbs. Find stillness here. Sink in. Invite that feeling of forgiveness into your heart space. Keep the heart lifted, draw the hands to the heart. Keep the left knee pressing forward as you tip forward, turn and twist to the left. So if this is too hard to balance or too intense of a twist, you can come up on those back toes. But if you can, keep that foot down. You'll get a nice twist, okay? Press the left knee forward, straight out over that toe. Find that twist in your spine. Left hand pressing down into right hand to roll the left shoulder back. Lengthen your spine in the back of your neck a little bit. Soften through the face and shoulders. Press down into the feet. See if you can make this breath last just a little bit longer. Press into the feet, fire up the core, come back up, warrior one. Cartwheel hands down to frame the foot, step the right foot forward, find that chair pose, sink into the heels, reach the arms forward and up. Sink in a little deeper, draw the upper body back, find your breath. Press into the feet, stand up, find a little backward bend. Exhale, hands to heart. So let your head bow to the heart here, close your eyes. And just imagine that forgiveness is just like any other discipline. And We all want to be more forgiving, but it's just doesn't seem to be our natural way of being. For some reason, we're kind of wired to react before we think. It's actually why we're still alive, because we have the ability to just react before having to process anything. But now we can create these little safe places or false senses of security within all the uncertainty where we feel safe enough that we can go, what would happen if I actually took the time to think before I acted? Since my life's not in danger here and no one's going to kill me in this moment, what would happen if I just learned to let forgiveness be my default state instead of reactivity? So just imagine, if you start to lose that and your head comes back to creating a narrative or building a case against somebody or yourself, just apply that forgiveness to yourself and just go, there it is. No judgment. It's just kind of the way things are. And we just start introducing this idea just like we introduce yoga or the breath. Just like, okay, I'm going to practice this. So let's just keep that idea in our heart. Like it's just like anything else. We need to practice, exercise that forgiveness muscle, yeah? All right, I meant to say that at the beginning, and that was my whole thing I was gonna talk about, and so I had to interject it. Okay, so bring the right heel right up into the center line of your body. Cup the toes with the left fingertips, and bring your right hand to your heart. We're trying to let that right knee fall down and back. All right, now start with your foundation and root down into the left foot like you mean it, like a tree trying to grow roots, shooting roots down into the floor, yeah? And then left quad lifting up, try to grow a little taller like that tree reaching for the sun. All right, I always like to think about the tree because the tree's never just like, no, not today. It's always like everything it's got, full blown, rooting down so it can rise up strong and tall, yeah? Maybe you want a little more and you want to bring that right hand behind the back and try to grab onto that big toe with the peace sign fingers of your right hand. One more time, start from the foundation up. Press down into the left foot, lift up through the left quad, press the hips forward. Let that right knee fall back. See if you can grow a little taller. See if you can grow a little softer. And invoke that feeling of forgiveness as you drop back into that heart space. Maybe finding that little smile helps. And release. Bring the left heel up into center, cup the toes with the right fingers. Bring the left hand to the heart. Set it up from the foundation up. Press the hips forward, let the knee fall back. Grow taller, grow softer. Maybe left hand reaches around behind the back. Maybe you grab that big toe. Maybe you can't grab the big toe. No worries, grab the elbow and start to work your hand down towards the wrist. One more time, foundation up, do all the things. Press the foot down, lift the quad up, hips forward, knee back, heart lifting, face and shoulders softening, forgiveness muscle flexing. One more breath. And release. Step your feet together, bring your hands to your heart. And lower your hands down by your sides. Inhale, reach out, lengthen up. Exhale, swan dive, lengthen forward. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, chaturanga, meeting back in downward facing dog. Stay here for a couple more breaths. See if you can make them each last just a little bit longer. See if you can find that little pause between each breath. Okay, roll forward into plank pose. Roll to the outside edge of your left foot. Reach your right hand up like side plank. Press down into the left hand, lift the hips a little higher, reach the right hand up. Find your strength. Find that lower belly drawing up towards the navel, yeah? Like pubic bone, drawing up towards the navel to engage that low belly. Bring your right arm up alongside the ear and lengthen through the whole right side of the body. Now step the right foot behind you, flip it over like Wild Thing. So you can bring that left foot flat on the ground or you can stay on the heel. Press into the feet, lift the hips, reach through the fingertips, relax your head and your neck. Open the heart. Slowly come back to plank. And then without moving your hands, lower down to forearm plank, walking or sliding the feet back. So your hands look just like down dog, shoulders stacked right over elbows, back of the neck long, core fired up. And now turn and twist, kiss the mat with your right hip. Inhale back through center. Exhale, left hip kisses mat. Inhale back through center, moving with your own breath now. Inhaling through center to find more length each time. Keep rooting down into your hands and your forearms to keep that core fired up. Like you're using your hands and your forearms to pull the heart forward a little bit and roll the shoulders back. Whenever you've had enough, just lower all the way down to the belly. Okay, lower down to the belly. Keep your hands just like they are. So that means your hands look just like down dog, okay? That means they're shoulder width distance apart, no wider, and your fingers are spread wide. Check that your elbows are right under your shoulders, no wider. And now relax the lower body. Sometimes we have the tendency to do like we do in Cobra and press the feet or the hips into the mat. Don't do that. So soften up back there, yeah? Engage your hands and your forearms to pull the belly button forward. Pull the heart forward, roll the shoulders back. Find your breath. Now slowly turn to gaze over the right shoulder. Maybe you can gaze all the way back at the feet. Maybe you can gaze even past the feet. Keep using your hands and your forearms to pull the heart forward and soften the shoulders. Stay with your breath. Keep that backside soft. Maybe you'll find this tiny little micro adjustment in this hard to get spot here. Slowly turn to face forward and turn to look over the left shoulder. Maybe all the way back to the feet. Maybe past the feet. That engagement to your hands and forearms to pull the heart forward, soften the shoulders, stay with your breath. Slowly gaze back out over the front. Now curl the toes, look back up, forearm plank. And now walk it in, lifting the booty up like dolphin pose. Let your head be heavy. Let your breath be deep. Root down into the hands and the forearms. Draw the shoulders out of the ears. And maybe from here you can press it right back up, downward facing dog. Maybe you need to come to the knees first. I have a little shoulder thing going on. I know, Melissa, you do too sometimes. That hasn't been a great move for me lately, the pushing up from dolphin to down dog, so maybe skip it. When I'm feeling good, I love that one. I love the strength that it builds in that one, but check in with your body. Come back to down dog, yeah? Inhale, roll forward into plank. Roll to the outside of your right foot, side plank, other side. Press into the right hand, lift up through the hips. Pubic bone up towards navel to fire up the lower belly. Reach that left hand up alongside the ear. Find a little more length through the whole left side. Step the left foot behind you, flip it over, wild thing. Press down into the feet, lift up through the hips, lift through the heart, reach through the fingers. Slowly come back to plank and then lower down forearm plank. So see if you can just hold here. Stay with your breath, keep the back of your neck long. So the idea is even when we're challenged and when things get tough and our body's shaking, we practice that forgiveness muscle then. So that when things get sideways out there in the real world, we can start to default to that, not just when we're laying down in meditation, but even when things are tough or when we're feeling challenged. All right, slowly lower the belly down, untuck the toes, soften the backside, maybe swaying the hips a little bit to be sure. We're all evened out, yeah? Bring your arms right in front of you, roughly keeping the shoulders right over the elbows, and slowly start to walk your hands out to the sides. All right, you might be able to go just a little bit further than you think. All right, now let the weight of your head come down to rest on your arms to help open things up here, using that weight of your head like a bowling ball. Again, check in with the backside. See if you're pressing your feet or your legs into the mat and soften there. Now, You might need to keep your mouth slightly open in this one, otherwise you might be clenching your jaw or holding tension here. Soften your face. Slowly come back up. So now that we're back on the floor, maybe you find that box breath again. Now bring the right arm behind the left and walk it out. A little further. Use the weight of the head. Come down and rest here. Soften the backside, shaking the hips a little bit. And sink in. Keep the jaw soft. See how long you can make this breath last. And slowly come back up. So now we're just gonna straighten our legs straight up towards the ceiling. You can do this against a wall if you want. If you would rather take this time to do an arm balance or an inversion, feel free to do that as well. All right, we're just gonna take a couple minutes to drain the blood out of our feet and our legs. Stay with your breath. All right, now press your palms down into the mat. If you have a tricky low back, you might stick those hands right under your booty here, palms face down. Now really flex your feet, pressing out through those heels. Squeezing the legs together, slowly lower the legs all the way down to the ground. Keep the toes drawing back towards the face, keep the belly drawing in, and slowly lift the legs back up. Hugging everything into center line, keep the shoulders grounded, keep the chin slightly tucked. Now keep the legs up, but point the toes now. Keep squeezing the legs together and reaching up to the toes and slowly lower down. Still hugging everything into center, still drawing the belly in. Now lower your legs down just till they're a couple inches off the ground, so they're just hovering here. And now flex and point. Keep squeezing the legs together as you flex and point. Pull the belly in. And lower the legs all the way down to the ground. Hug your knees into your chest. And now find a happy baby. So bring your arms inside your knees. You can grab the outside edge of your feet. Start to rock side to side a little bit. Or you can grab the inside edge of your feet if that feels better. If you want to straighten your legs out wide to the sides, you can hook those big toes with the peace sign fingers. Try to get your whole spine flat on the ground here. Tucking the chin a little bit, trying to get the lower vertebrae and the butt down. Maybe massaging out some tension in the low back. Now see, imagine you're like driving a big old bus. And so not just rocking side to side, but imagine the motion like turning that steering wheel. See if you can find that little swivel in your low vertebrae. See if that feels good. Hug your knees into your chest. Now grab your elbows around your knees. Keep your chin slightly tucked, but your head on the ground. Soften through the shoulders. Squeeze the knees in. Now try to get your lower vertebrae and your butt on the ground. So the motion is as though you were gonna like roll your feet till they were flat down on the ground. They don't move much because you're hugging your knees in so tight, but that little motion will help you to get that lower vertebrae and the butt down so your whole spine's flat on the ground here. Find your breath and really try to press the whole spine into the ground. Press the shoulders into the ground and make that motion like you're rolling the feet down. And now let the left leg go long on the mat. Interlace the fingers around the right knee. So keep kicking out through the left heel, drawing the toes back towards the face, but the left leg's all the way down. Squeeze that right knee in towards the right armpit. Tuck the chin a little bit. Hug the elbows in against the body. Pull the shoulders into the ground and really squeeze that knee in. Find your box breath here. Invite that feeling of forgiveness down into your heart. And now bring your right arm out like a cactus, bent at 90, palm facing up, and use your left hand to guide the knee all the way across the body to a spinal twist. Gaze out over the right hand. Relax your shoulders. Find that box breathing, maybe lasting a little bit longer now. So basically, any time that we are not happy or experiencing that joy of being, there's something on some level, maybe it's subtle or subconscious, that we're not okay with. We're not accepting reality as it is, or ourselves as we are. And so just inviting that like feeling of forgiveness. I mean, maybe you want to delve in and figure out what it is and get to the bottom of it. If you're analytical like me, you usually have to do that, even though it usually does not produce any peace. Sometimes just tapping into that idea, like, I'm just going to forgive no matter what it is, no matter whose fault, no matter where it came from, just kind of getting better at that, just like letting go of it just for the sake of letting it go. Not even like to be the bigger person or because I'm so spiritual, just because it feels good, right? For a long time, I think I used to let go and be like, well, I'm just going to let it go. I'm just going to take the high road. And yeah, okay, that was the right move probably, but because it wasn't for the right reason, I think I didn't get the same effect. Come back to center, hug your knees into your chest. Why is there a dog in my way? Let the right leg go long, kick out through that heel, interlace the fingers around the left knee, hug it in tight. Now find a little more length from your heel to your crown. Keep that right leg engaged to keep that right leg grounded. Relax the left foot, tuck the chin a little bit, hug the elbows in and squeeze that knee in. Find your breath. Find that forgiveness. And notice how even though it's not really like flexing a muscle, it's kind of the opposite. It still takes just as much effort or focus to tap into it, even though it's kind of the opposite of doing something. All right, left arm comes out like cactus. Right hand helps left knee all the way across the body. Gaze out over the left hand, relax the shoulders, and get right into that equal parts box breath. Counting it if it helps, or just making each part last as long as you can. Slowly come back to center, hug your knees into your chest. Now we're gonna roll it back into a plow pose. See if you can get the toes to touch the ground behind your head. And then see if you can soften through your neck and your shoulders here. If your feet are effortlessly touching the ground, try to walk them back there a little further. Maybe you can interlace your fingers back behind you. Maybe you can even glue the palms together back here. Draw the hands down into the ground. Soften through the neck and shoulders. Try to find that deep, slow, steady flow and that space in between here. Bring your hands to your low back, creating a shelf for your hips. Straighten the legs up towards the sky. Just stack the hips over shoulders, feet over hips. So try to actually make that happen, like standing on the ceiling now. Get those feet, hips, and shoulders in the same line. All right, maybe you can get your hips a little higher by walking your hands up your back a little bit, towards the ground a little bit. Zip your legs together. Reach up through the balls of the feet. Lift the feet a little higher. Find your breath. Find softness through the face and the neck and the shoulders. Lift the feet a little more to take some of that weight off of the elbows. Slowly lower back into plow pose. And just really soften here for one full round of that box breath. Soften through the neck, soften through that face. Press your palms into the ground as slow as you can go. Roll out one vertebrae at a time. Once your booty touches the ground, keep squeezing the legs together and slowly lower the legs all the way down. Once the legs touch the ground, pop up into a fish pose. Hands under your body, palms pressing down, elbows pressing down to lift the heart. Crown of the head reaching for the mat behind you. Zip the legs together, reach out through the balls of the feet, rooting to the elbows to lift the heart. Soften through the face and shoulders. Maybe the legs lift up off the ground. And release. Slowly hug your knees into your chest. So you have a choice now. If there's any one last pose you want to do before Shavasana, you can do that now. Or if you want to take an extra long Shavasana today, you can get right into that. Just check in with your body. See if there's any pose you were kind of hoping we would do to make your practice complete. Both my sisters are trying to FaceTime me. That means they're fighting. Interesting. I haven't figured out how to not let FaceTimes come through my computer when I'm doing this yet. If there's anything you need to do before you can fully relax, go ahead and do it now. If you need to check your phone or turn something off or rotate something in the oven, go ahead and do it so you can go a little deeper. We're gonna give ourselves permission to let go a little bit deeper than we have. So if there's anything that just keeps crossing your mind, go ahead and cross it off the list real quick if it's something easy and quick. And then when you're ready, we'll come into Shavasana. Maybe you want to grab a blanket or a sweatshirt or something to cover your face with, if it's bright or cold where you are. So let your legs be as wide as your mat. Let your toes fall open. Bring one hand to your heart and one hand to your belly. Tuck your chin just a little bit. Now tap into that heart space and feel that frequency of forgiveness in both your hands, in your heart, in your belly. Now imagine that after this exhale, you're going to tap into this whole nother layer or level of unwind that you've never actually let yourself tap into. Imagine that right after this exhale awaits this release, this letting go that only you can initiate. This letting go that you can only experience right now in this very moment. Maybe forgiveness can be your entry point there. Feel that forgiveness and then see if you can follow it a little deeper. Allow your head and neck and shoulders to become heavy. Maybe it feels like you've already relaxed the shoulders and the jaw, but maybe there's some more room there to settle in a little bit deeper. Now imagine that once we get really good at having that forgiveness frequency be our natural state or our default state, then that just starts to kind of ripple out. And we just start to forgive everybody around us and forgive the world for all the things. Allowing space for us to experience that joy of being. Sometimes it feels like, well, how could I feel joy when there's so much bad things in the world? And I think the answer is, well, you just forgive that. You forgive the world for being messed up. Forgive whoever it is for being messed up. Doesn't mean you put up with bad behavior. There's lines and there's times and places to make that call. But for the most part, just tapping into that forgiveness, offering up that forgiveness can bring you that peace, can bring you back to that joy of being. So imagine there's still one more layer, one more level here. After this next breath, you're going to sink into it and you're going to let go a little more than you ever have. You're going to feel your shoulders get a little heavier and feel your body start to liquefy as you just kind of melt. Letting all those ideas about yourself, those resentments, just kind of melt right now, letting them fall away. Invite a deeper breath back into your body. And before you invite movement back into the fingers and toes, invite that joy of being back with the movement. So that as you start to move your fingers and toes, you start to associate the feeling of moving your body, the feeling of having a body, with that joy of being. When you're ready, roll over onto either side. Now, using the strength of your arms, slowly press back up to a seat. Finding that nice tall spine one more time. Breathing a little more length into it. Exhaling a little more softness. One more time, inhale, arms up overhead. Squeeze your palms together. Lift the fingers high. Exhale your hands to your heart. Let your head bow to the wisdom of the heart. Close your eyes. Bring the thumbs up to that space above the eyebrows. And take a moment to thank yourself for showing up. May all beings everywhere be free from pain and suffering. May our thoughts and actions in some way contribute to that. Namaste.